In this presentation, I will briefly describe the key points from Chapter 2 of the textbook and the Times article by Taylor Harris. First, the textbook dives into individuals involved in delivering the supports, programs, and services entitled to students with disabilities as listed here. Secondly, the textbook provides actions a general education teacher could take when deciding whether or not to request that a student with whom they have a persistent concern about be assessed. You should analyze the nature of the student's unmet needs, communicate your observations to relevant professionals in the school community, and attempt interventions of your own while consistently monitoring their impact and effectiveness on the persistent concern. An important theme throughout this chapter was the importance of data collection. The road for receiving services is illustrated here. There are specific and formal procedures that must be followed to determine student eligibility for SPED services. We went over the first step about recognizing an unmet need, but before jumping right into referring a student for SPED services, we should apply response to intervention, or RTI, in which we monitor how students respond to increasingly intensive interventions in instruction and make next step decisions from these results. If interventions fail, the next step for a student to receive SPED services is formally contacting parents. Parents are stakeholders in the process and are part of the multidisciplinary team, or MDT. After a comprehensive assessment of the student has been completed, the MDT meets to discuss its results and make several decisions together. Coming out of this conversation is the student's IEP, which details the plan for the student's education and related services. Guidelines such as annual reviews and 3U evaluations help monitor the student progress and ensure their IEP is still appropriate for them. There are several required components in the IEP, such as accommodations to be made in the general education setting and the supports to be provided there. Finally, we must remember that services students with disabilities receive are comprehensive and provided in a variety of placements with the principle of least restrictive environment in mind. Harris is the mother of Toph, a young black boy with an undiagnosed genetic disorder that entitled him to early intervention SPED services. The story itself is powerful, injects voice into all the objective information we read about, and teaches us important lessons. The list of takeaways I compiled is not exhaustive. Finally, I listed some responsibilities we have as future educators teaching in general education classrooms containing students with disabilities. The second point most relates to the Harris article because our decisions should always be evidence-based and data-driven to ensure students are receiving the support they are entitled and deserving of.